The neighborhood of Silver Lake Estates looked like the American dream on a postcard. White picket fences gleaming under perfect sunlight, lawns trimmed to military precision, and the sparkling lake in the distance promising weekend serenity. But anyone who lived here knew the truth. That peace came with chains. The Silver Lake Estates, HO, it wasn't just rules on paper. It was a kingdom ruled by President Karen Voss, a woman who smiled like a Sunday school teacher while wielding fines like a medieval executioner. She'd pat you on the shoulder and say, "We're all family here, dear," right before slapping you with a $500 violation for the wrong shade of mulch. I'd learned that lesson the hard way over 7 years. My name is Emery Price. I design commercial lighting for a living, restaurants, hotels, lobbies that make people feel exactly what the client wants. I control light. But inside these HOA gates, I'd always been the unlit corner everyone forgot to wire. My 27th birthday came and went like every other year in Silver Lake Estates, silent. No card from the welcome committee. No community shout-out on the HOA Facebook page that Karen ran like her personal throne. Just the usual monthly newsletter reminding residents that proper flag etiquette builds neighborhood pride. By evening, the familiar hollow ache settled in my chest, the kind I used to fill with lowered expectations. 3 days later, my real friends showed up. Nora, the paramedic with righteous fire in her eyes. Miles, the software guy carrying Talia's triple chocolate cake. And Talia herself on FaceTime from her bakery screaming, "We're not letting this stand." We drank cheap wine on my floor, ate frosting straight from the box. And for one night, the rules outside didn't exist. But when the candles were blown out, the sting remained. I was tired of being the afterthought. That night, I made a decision. If the HOA family wouldn't celebrate me, I'd build something undeniably mine. For the next 3 weeks, I worked in secret frenzy. I wasn't touching the front yard. That would trigger Karen's aesthetic compliance committee. I focused on the back. The lake-facing side, no casual drive-by could see. I refinished the wide plank floors myself. Installed a lighting system I designed down to the Kelvin. Recessed 3,000K LEDs that turned golden hour into permanent magic. The stone hearth glowed like it had been waiting centuries for me. The entire glass wall became a living painting of the lake. I spent thousands on wiring, hired a crew under NDA, and on a late autumn Saturday, I lit the first fire. The sun set bruised purple over the water while my new leather chair reflected warm light off knotty pine. I took one single photo, the view from my chair, fire crackling, lake still as glass, and posted it on the HOA community page with the caption, "Best birthday I've ever thrown for myself." Then I turned off my phone and slept in the peace I'd built. Monday morning, my phone exploded. Not with happy belateds. Karen Voss herself texted at 8:03 a.m. "Emery, we need to talk immediately about your recent improvements." By 8:05, the board, her husband Martin and her daughter Sloan, had chimed in with the same clipped demands. No congratulations, just summons. I tried to work on my red juniper restaurant proposal, calculating lumen fall-off for bar shelving. But my hands shook. The intercom buzzed at 10:30. Karen's voice crackled through the speaker like a disappointed principal. "Emery, dear, let us in. This is a community matter." I buzzed them in because refusing would just add another violation to my file. They marched into my living room like they owned the mortgage. Karen Voss in her pastel HOA president blazer, clutching a folder labeled compliance review. Martin stood behind her like a bodyguard, and Sloan scrolled her phone with practice boredom. Karen surveyed my space with that fake bright smile. "You've been busy, haven't you?" Such a lovely personal touch. She fluffed a pillow that wasn't even crooked. "But the board has concerns. That backyard lighting and deck expansion, it clearly enhances the entire lakeside view. For fairness, We need to discuss putting 50% of the improvement value into the HOA Community Trust. Tax purposes, you understand. Community, family, and all that. The air left my lungs. This wasn't a violation notice. This was annexation. 50%, I repeated. Tasting ash. Karen nodded. Patience already thinning. You built it within our beautiful neighborhood. Emery, the rules are clear. Major enhancements benefit everyone. We're being generous. Just sign the papers, and we'll overlook the fact you did all this without prior approval. I stared at the three of them, the holy trinity of HOA disappointment. You ignored every complaint I filed for 7 years. Now I create something beautiful, and you show up demanding half. Karen clutched her pearls theatrically. That's not fair. We're very busy enforcing standards for all residents. Sloan rolled her eyes. Just sign it. Emery, don't make this a drama. It'll be great for the kids, our community kids. The word community ignited something steel-hard in me. I listed every ignored birthday equivalent. The time they fined me for a single political sign while ignoring Karen's own oversized holiday display. The graduation level portfolio showcase I hosted for local designers where not one board member showed. The portfolio review where I stood alone while Karen played golf. My voice rose. You only notice me when I have something you want. Karen stood, face pale with practiced indignation. I will not be spoken to this way in a compliant neighborhood. Martin stepped forward, voice low and menacing. You have 48 hours to reconsider. Emery, or we'll have to protect the community's interests. I know the partners at Arcadia Lumens. I know your red juniper clients. Stability and reputation matter in business. The threat landed like ice water. He was coming for my career, the very thing that let me buy this house and fund the renovation with every freelance gig and index fund dollar I'd scraped together. They left with the same dramatic door click that always followed HOA visits. My legs gave out. I grabbed a chair, shaking. The red juniper project, my biggest shot, was now leverage. I texted my friends. They're here. The HOA version of family just showed up. Nora called instantly, voice terrifyingly calm. That absolute Karen. Do not respond. We're handling this. Talia was already baking a go-to-hell pie. Miles started encrypting files. But I knew I needed more than friends. I scrolled to Marcella Quinn, the shark lawyer I'd met at a design event. She answered on the first ring. I told her everything, the post, the 50% demand, the 48-hour clock, the career threat. Marcella's voice went arctic. Legally, they have zero claim. You own the property outright. This is textbook tortious interference and attempted extortion. Forward me every communication. We're building a fortress. That night, I became my own historian. I labeled a new document, Timeline of HOA Harassment. Entry 1, Monday, 10:30 a.m. Karen Voss and board demand 50% equity in my private renovation. Threaten professional reputation. I pulled every bank statement, every freelance contract, every W-2 going back 8 years. I printed the down payment wire for my own high-yield savings. I highlighted my name alone on the deed. By 10 p.m., I had a 3-inch binder titled Renovation Funding Proof locked in my fireproof safe. Receipts don't lie. Karen could bring her fake community trust. I'd bring data. The buzzer sounded again just after 11. Sloan's voice crackled through the intercom, small and soaked from rain. Emery, it's just me. I'm not on her side. Please. Against every instinct, I let her in. She looked wrecked, mascara running, hair plastered. She's building a case, Sloan whispered. She's claiming she fronted HOA funds for your wiring somehow. An off-books $200,000 community loan from 2022. She's going to file a lien to cloud the title and bleed you dry in legal fees until you sign. My stomach dropped. The lie was huge, specific, and exactly the kind that could tie me up for years. Sloane's voice cracked. My 8-year-old heard me defending her and asked why Grandma Karen gets to steal Aunt Emery's house. He looked at me like I was the villain. I'm tired of being this person. She left before Karen could know. But the information was gold. I called Marcella at midnight. She's planning a fraudulent lien, filing false documents with the county. Marcella's laugh was pure predator. He's sorry. She just handed us the sword, the shield, and a nuclear bomb. We're not waiting. We're striking first. Tuesday was the silence before the storm. Marcella's cease and desist letter, pure venom in legal language, landed on Karen's doorstep by courier at 9 a.m., detailing every threat, every demand, every career extortion attempt. No response. Wednesday morning, the email from Karen's lawyer arrived. Cold and dismissive. Our client rejects the baseless claims. This is a simple matter of a defaulted community enhancement loan. Mr. Voss is graciously offering to forgive the debt in exchange for 50% stake in the improved property. You have until 5 p.m. Today. They put the lie in writing. Verbal agreement. Collateral. I forwarded it to Marcella with zero comment. Her reply, they're insane. Stay off the phone. Work. Document everything. She just gave us more rope. I try to focus on red juniper blueprints. But at 11:30, my boss at Arcadia called me into her office. Emery, I just had a disturbing call from Karen Voss. She claims you're financially compromised and in personal crisis, that we should review liability on your projects. Before I could answer, my phone lit up, my oldest hotel client. I answered on speaker. The client's voice was stressed. Some woman named Karen just called saying you're filing bankruptcy and all contracts are frozen. I looked my boss dead in the eye. That is a lie. The HOA president is attempting to extort me over a private renovation. I am not unstable. I'm being harassed. My boss's expression hardened from confusion to cold fury. Call every client. Get ahead of her. The next 2 hours were damage control hell. Most clients were confused. 2 had received the same scripted call about my instability. One restaurant group was furious on my behalf. That Karen can go to hell. You're the best in Denver. But the development firm pulled the City Park project entirely, citing perception. 6 figures gone in one conversation. At 4:50 p.m., my apartment was quiet. At 5:01, the voicemail hit. Karen's voice, no longer polite. You made a very stupid mistake. Emery, you should have signed. This is just the beginning. You will lose everything. I saved it, emailed it to Marcella, and let my friends flood in with takeout and the dumbest action movie they could find. We ate apocalypse pie and laughed until the dread receded. For one night, the HOA couldn't touch me. Thursday morning, Marcella's email arrived at 7 a.m. She did it. She filed the lawsuit and a lease penned in this morning claiming breach of a $200,000 verbal community loan. She's an arrogant fool. She just committed perjury in open court. Her counterclaim was already drafted. Harassment, slander of title, tortious interference, intentional infliction of emotional distress. My funding binder became Exhibit A, Karen's voicemail Exhibit B. We demanded immediate hearing and discovery of her bank records. She claimed she fronted $200,000. Fine. Show the wire. She can't. I drove to my house, now feeling like a battlefield, and spent 2 hours photographing every inch of my custom lighting, every receipt, every contractor invoice paid from my business account. If Karen wanted to claim this, she'd have to prove she knew a single detail about it. That evening, my phone rang, an unknown local number. Gavin Pierce, former HOA treasurer and Karen's former ally at the neighborhood development company. I saw the filing. This isn't about your deck. Emery, she's desperate. She's been bleeding HOA dues for 3 years. Fuel contracts, landscaping kickbacks, Fake invoices. The $200,000 she's claiming? I think I know where it came from, and it wasn't hers. He insisted we meet at a nondescript coffee shop in Lakewood. He arrived looking hollowed out, suit rumpled, eyes bruised. She's a thief. I bought the USB drive with every falsified ledger entry. She's about to take the whole board down with her. I took the drive like it was radioactive. Back at my house, I plugged it in and watched 3 years of embezzled community money laid out in cold spreadsheets. Karen Voss wasn't just a power-hungry president. She was a criminal wearing pastel blazers. Friday, the other shoe dropped in public. The Denver Business Journal ran a story. Silver Lake Estates, HOA president sued for $800,000 embezzlement by former treasurer. The man in the newspaper photo, smiling at last year's community picnic, was the real Karen Voss, now exposed. My phone rang 2 days later. Sloan. Voice cracked whisper. It's over. Mom found the second mortgage Karen took out on the community clubhouse 2 years ago. $300,000, she said, was for bridge repairs. The payments were coming from her personal account. The money's gone. The bank is calling. She's leaving her. She called her own lawyer. I listened without triumph. Just the cold emptiness of a severed limb. Sloan, get your own lawyer. Don't call again. I hung up. Marcella called an hour later. Did you see the news? Her credibility is zero. We're accelerating. Motion to dismiss with prejudice. Attaching the embezzlement evidence. We're arguing the entire lawsuit is a malicious fiction to hide her crimes. That week, I turned my Lakeview house into a war room. The second bedroom became my studio. I pinned a corkboard, timeline, defamation map, the Business Journal article. I called every client and supplier from the last 3 years, calmly documenting Karen's lies. She claimed you were bankrupt, unstable contracts frozen. 12 of them sent emails summarizing exactly what Karen had told them. I forwarded the package to Marcella. This is gold, she said. Quantifiable malice. We can put an exact price on it. While Marcella carpet-bombed Karen's legal position with Gavin's USB, I started my own quiet campaign. The Small Design blog ran a piece on upcoming Denver restaurants. Red Juniper featured with my lighting concept front and center. State of the art. Emotionally driven lighting by Arcadia's Emery Price. My name in print felt like a spotlight. Karen had tried to turn off my light. I was still shining brighter. Then the Interior Design Guild email arrived. I'd won the Innovations in Light Award for my 3000K system. My boss secretly resubmitted it. The awards dinner was next week. Arcadia buying the front table. Suddenly the narrative flipped. I wasn't the unstable resident. I was the award-winning designer being criminally harassed by a disgraced embezzler president. Karen's lawyer sent a panic settlement offer. Drop the lien. Pay the lost contract. But no apology and a gag order. Marcella read it with disgust. He's offering to stop punching you if you pay for your own bandages. I laughed. Harsh and ugly. Counter with everything. $70,000 reimbursement. Full public retraction letter drafted by us. And she, sent it to every single person on the defamation map. No gag. He called them to lie. She's calling them back to tell the truth. The counter went out at 4 p.m. Silence for 2 days. Then Gavin's embezzlement suit survived its first motion to dismiss. The pressure snapped. Thursday morning, Marcella called. She signed. $70,000 wired. And I have the letter, signed in blue ink. Tight and angry. Retraction and apology. Every word we wrote. I sat at my desk. The thick cream letterhead in my hands. The same stationery Karen used for HOA newsletters. To all concerned parties, my previous claims regarding MS. Price's financial instability, bankruptcy, and personal crisis were false, malicious, and without merit. I retract every statement and apologize for the damage caused. I scanned it, created a clean PDF, and emailed it to all 15 contacts on my map with a simple note. My good name is restored. The matter is closed. Replies flooded in within an hour. Support. Relief. Fury on my behalf. The development firm called back the next day. City Park project reinstated. Full fee plus 10% apology bonus. A major architectural firm I'd chased for a year offered a flagship hotel lighting contract. The work I'd built with my own hands was coming back stronger. While I rebuilt, the old structure collapsed. Karen's wife filed for separation after discovering the secret mortgage on the clubhouse. Sloan, cut off from the family gravy train, lost the leased SUV and moved into a rented apartment with her kids. The last I heard, she was managing a small gallery and finally learning what real work felt like. Karen herself lost the company she'd built and looted. Gavin's suit plus lender actions forced personal bankruptcy. The big house on the hill went to auction. Her name, once printed on every HOA welcome packet, became a cautionary tale whispered at neighborhood barbecues. I sent one final letter through Marcella to all three of their new attorneys. MS. Price considers this matter closed. All future communication goes through my office. The wall was built. It was permanent. I was finally safe behind it. My life found a new rhythm I set myself. Arcadia was thriving. I hired Jasmine, a hungry recent grad whose portfolio reminded me of myself 10 years ago. You have the job, I told her. Long hours, but you'll learn everything. She cried. The first weekend of every month, my real family, Nora, Miles, Talia, drove up. We swam in the lake, kayaked to the island, played Miles's ridiculous card game, cooked messy meals. At night, we sat on the deck under my 3000K string lights, the only illumination besides the stars. We talked about everything except Karen. One crisp autumn night, Nora raised her beer to Emery. I shook my head. To us. You were the wall. You showed up when the HOA family didn't. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. The silence over the lake wasn't empty anymore. It was full. It was peace. A few weeks later, it was my 28th birthday. I threw the party myself, string lights everywhere. Talia's masterpiece cake. Miles's perfect playlist. Clients. My boss. Jasmine. All the people who had stuck by me. As they sang happy birthday around the fire pit, I looked at the faces. The glowing house. The life I'd built with my own two hands and zero HOA approval. I blew out the candles and for the first time didn't have to wish for anything. Later, cleaning up, I walked down to the boathouse. On a high shelf sat the small dark wooden box my great-grandmother had given me on my 17th birthday. The stern bookkeeper who had helped found Silver Lake Estates decades earlier. Don't open it yet, she'd whispered. You'll know when it's time. Don't let her see it. I'd hidden it through college, through every move, and now here it was. I'd found the key weeks ago, taped underneath in wax paper. The piece had lasted 3 weeks. 3 weeks where the house was truly mine. Saturday afternoon, I was working in my studio. Pine and lake, air drifting through the open window, when a car door slammed. A black sedan I didn't recognize. A man in a cheap suit climbed out, briefcase in hand, synthetic smile glued on. I stepped onto the deck. This is private property. He looked up. MS. Price. I'm here on behalf of an interested party concerning this beautiful property. My client has a deep familial community interest. He's authorized me to offer a generous common use agreement. In exchange, he'll agree not to pursue further legal action. The TTRO flashed in my mind. Karen was prohibited from contacting me directly or indirectly. This was it, a third-party intimidation attempt. He's offering to not sue me, I said, voice dead calm. The court already ruled. Get off my property. He protested, patting the briefcase. My client believes the judge was in error. This agreement makes all that go away. He just wants what's fair. He just wants his community back. I pulled out my phone. In exactly 30 seconds, I'm calling the county sheriff for trespassing and reporting your client for violating the TTRO. His face drained white. He scrambled back to the sedan, spitting gravel as he fled. I made 2 calls. First, the sheriff. Clear description. Plate. Full report. Violating a TTRO is serious. Ma'am, we'll find him. Second, Marcella. She did it. She broke the order. Marcella's voice turned to steel. This is the end. She just handed us the keys to her own jail cell. I'm calling the DA. The final confrontation was set for Tuesday at my house, supervised. 2 deputies present. Karen's lawyer Harris protested the location. Marcella refused. Your client violated the order at her home. We resolve it here. I waited on the deck when they arrived. Black sedan. Deputies. Grim-faced Harris. And finally Karen in a cheap rental car. She looked thin, sallow, the pastel blazer hanging loose. The swagger was gone. Marcella sat at my patio table with laptop and portable projector. Harris tried to spin. Mr. Jones was an independent mediator. A misunderstanding. The senior deputy read from his notebook. Mr. Jones gave a full statement. He was paid $500 cash by Karen Voss to deliver the agreement and scare the resident. That's a felony violation. Karen's face twitched. Harris pulled a paper from his briefcase, an obvious fake email dated March 2022 from my old Gmail. Dad, sorry. Karen, thanks for the $200,000 community loan. I'll pay you back. Marcella picked it up, smiling like a shark. This is your smoking gun? She plugged in the USB from my great-grandmother's box. The projector lit up the white boathouse door. First the fake email, then the ledger page in perfect cursive. I have set aside $10,000 for Emery. It is not to be touched by Karen. She has been stealing from the HOA Treasury since she was treasurer in 1998. This money is her seed. Then the spreadsheets cross-referenced with my own funding proof. Every deposit from my salary. No mysterious $200,000. No community loans. Harris was silent. Karen was shaking. You did this after everything the community gave you? I stepped forward. You gave me nothing but fines and ignored complaints. You tried to steal my house. You tried to ruin my name. And you stand here, still lying. The senior deputy moved. Karen Voss. You are under arrest for violation of the TTRO and on suspicion of witness tampering and fabrication of evidence. The DA is very interested in how this connects to your ongoing embezzlement case. Handcuffs clicked. As they led her away, she screamed at Sloan standing at the edge of the woods with her son. This is what you do to family. I looked at the woman who had built my cage and said the cleanest word I'd ever spoken. Family doesn't use lies as chains. The police car disappeared up the gravel drive. Marcella shut her laptop. My friends came down from the deck. She snapped on the boathouse floodlights. Brilliant 3000K chasing every shadow. Everything was clean. Everything was visible. I walked to the railing where a single teal birthday candle from the party had melted onto the wood. I looked at the lake. And my friends. And my house, mine. I took a deep breath of cold, clean air and blew the candle out. Thank you for listening to my story. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Drop a comment below. Remember to subscribe, like, and smash that hype button so more people can hear how one HOA Karen's greed finally met the receipts.